Yeah,
I don't care about
that.
who they played because they needed reps together.
Yeah.
And now we get to see how meaningful those reps are against better competition. And I'm excited for it.
I hate the strength of schedule argument in the NBA.
Mm.
I despise it. I do. Listen, at this point of the year, if you told me, would you rather have, and I'm being honest, if you told me, would you rather have the toughest strength of schedule or the least? I want the toughest.
So a lot of people in the chat are pointing out that the Suns don't have the most friendly remainder of the schedule and only 8 or so really easy games or something like that. Let's hear first from KD on how he feels about the rest of the season.
We don't really necessarily talk about the strength of schedule. We respect every team regardless and try to focus on us as much as possible each night. So it's just about building our habits, getting better at what we already established and pushing forward. And, I think just playing against some of the teams that's going to be there at the end of the season is going to be a great test before we head to the playoffs.
So a couple things about this schedule. Yes, we have 27 games remaining. They have 5 back-to-backs for the rest of the schedule. They've got a 4-game road trip and a 5-game road trip. And oddly enough, they played the Rockets 3 times in the next 10 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3 times in 4 games.
In 4 games, yeah.
It's like there's the Lakers game in between, and then it's just bizarre.
Yeah. So, how are you guys feeling about the remainder of the schedule? I honestly feel like, I know we talk a lot about how tough schedules are in the front part of the season and the back half of the season, but I feel like it's such a marginal difference. It's goes from 0.9 to 0.98 or something like that when when you break it all down. So, yeah, you got a tough schedule, but you got to beat these teams anyway.
Yeah, look, from the Thursday through probably the 5th. That Celtics game will be a barometer test, but I think you make or break where you're going to be in the West from Thursday through the 5th.
And honestly, I'd rather have some of these tougher games now when they've actually figured it out more than in the beginning of the season when they were still trying to figure out what was up and what was down.
Yeah,
and dealing with injuries.
Dallas, the Lakers, OKC, the Nuggets, and then those Rockets games. That's, you got 3 teams really that are right there with you, and OKC that if they are going to fall, you're gonna have to beat them there too. I feel like this is going to be a real key stretch here.
It is. And you look at a lot of the teams that they're facing, like just the fact that they have 3 games in their first 4 nights back after the break. And that Sunday game is like a 1:30 game. So it's not even, it's like a back-to-back. And then you get less than the normal amount of rest before the next one. Dallas has been playing really well since they added PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford. The Lakers have been playing a lot better since they went back to last year's starting lineup. The Thunder, one of the top teams in the West, the Nuggets, defending champs. You get 2 games against the Celtics. The Cavs have been playing about as well as anybody over the last few weeks. Yeah. So this upcoming stretch is huge for the Suns. It's going to provide a lot of different tests and a lot of different matchups. And I'm excited for it because we needed to see them build some continuity. And that's why when I kept tweeting out, the Suns stats since December 27th when they started to turn things around. And I keep getting met with, well, look at who they've played. Well, I don't care about who they played because they needed reps together. Yeah. And now we get to see how meaningful those reps are against better competition. And I'm excited for it.
I hate the strength of schedule argument in the NBA. I despise it. I do. Listen, at this point of the year, if you told me, would you rather have, and I'm being honest, if you told me, would you rather have the toughest strength of schedule or the least? I want the toughest. Because this is how you're going to get better. This is how you're going to get tested for the playoffs. You're not going to get tested with a weak strength of schedule and just going through lollipop games and then popping up in the playoffs, and then you got to face these dogs. So I love where they at. These guys want the best competition. I don't think they even think twice about the strength of schedule. And I honestly think it's going to be good for them. There's going to be some nights, you might have a stretch where you lose 3 out of 4 during this time. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I think these are the moments where iron sharpens iron. You get the stuff fixed. This team's gonna make the playoffs. I think they're gonna make the playoffs comfortably. I don't think the schedule is a problem at all.
I think the only time it really could benefit you is at the start of the season. Like they've got shortened training camps. We've talked about that many times. If you have an easier schedule to start the season, I think that's really the only time where you can point out and be like, that's actually might be the one beneficial moment because you can kind of
stack some wins.
Didn't
help the Suns. Remember those Spurs games early in the year?
Yeah, but this is true.
But it could have been worse.
It could have been worse.
I mean, it always can.
Could have been way
gotten
more.
mollywopped.
Yeah.
But I think that's the only time where you can really look at it and say, here's a definitive way in which this could actually help you by like easing you into a season, especially if you have a guy maybe coming off injury over an off season or something. But
we talked about catching Denver 5th, and I believe it's the 23rd of March is when you face them, and or 27th, excuse me. Those are the imperative. You have to win those two if you want to catch the Nuggets, I think, because those are the two you can control, right? So that's those two are 2 dates I have circled on the calendar, and you look at those. I mean, that last week, Pelicans twice,
last week.
Clippers twice.
Clippers back to back is just like.
Pelicans twice, Clippers twice, Timberwolves twice, and the Kings.
I love it, man.
I mean, that right there could change the entire standings in 2 weeks.
And they end the season on a 3-game road trip, which is interesting too.
Yeah, Nuggets, OKC, Pelicans, Cavs, Timberwolves, Pelicans, Clippers, Kings, and Timberwolves.
Love it.
I mean, that's a gauntlet, but it also could completely reshape where the West is by the end of the year.
Yeah, I love it.
It's go time, y'all.
Yep.
2 more days, and then we're finally in the back half of the season, and this is when things start to get really real.
Turns to a sprint.
And we'll be here for you every step of the way.
I hate that,
plan to hang
Lynn.
out with us.
I'm not you. I hate that we call it the back half of the season.
That would have been rough if you were just like,
no, not Lynn.
Lindsay.
All right, bye,
no, I hate that.
Okay, I'll see myself out.
I hate that back half. No, everyone says it. It's after the All-Star back half. I'm like, man, it's like 3/4 of the season done.
Do you prefer we call it the padunkadunk of the season?
It's the back half of the season for playoff teams. I think is
no, there's no back half. There's
more
27 games left. Like there's been a third of the season.
Yeah, but in theory, if we go through all the way to the finals, we got quite a few games left.
If you look at it from that perspective,
that's how I'm trying to will it into existence.
I'm not mad at what you said.
We
you said it right.
June.
Yeah, you're right. That's
it's
true.
The not so junk in the trunk of the season. There, it's
Why don't we do the All-Star game at the 40-game mark?
Because then it'd be in December.
Who gives a damn? It's half the season. I ain't like that as a kid.
See, and then my in-season tournament thing works. There we go. Done.
Yeah. We'll start voting on All-Stars in mid-November.
I don't hate.
I mean, let's be honest. You get the same results.
You might.
Hello, I don't hate tacos, dog. I just don't know. I don't eat them.
It's like, hold up. Pocket. I don't hate tacos. The chat, however.
Yeah, the chat was still out. The jury's still out. Undecided.
You get what I mean, hello. Nah, I love the chat.